right, guys, this is a real one. We're going to do this all in one clip. No cuts, no nothing. All right, so my name is Joshua Boyd. I'm born in Sudbury, Ontario, raised in Airdrie, Alberta, just north of Calgary, Alberta. If you don't know where any of those places are, I'm Canadian, eh? Story short, I grew up in a good home. My parents are still together to this day. Tight-knit family. Everything's like, statistically speaking, I'm from an upper middle class family with like really good opportunity ahead of me and every opportunity to succeed. And I still ended up homeless, and I'll tell you how. All with mental health. This is a mental health video. This is for people that struggle with mental health, from anything from anxiety to depression to schizophrenia to schizoaffective disorder to bipolar, borderline personality disorder. Whatever your cup of tea is, whatever the cocktail the doctor gave you, I hope you're taking it. But yeah. So when I was 19, I went to culinary school in Vancouver, and I had just gone through a really, really horrible 4-year long relationship. And it was the most mentally abusive situation I've ever been in my entire life. Probably my first taste of real abuse, given the fact that I'm from a good home and never experienced any of that kind of stuff at home. And then I got really into the chef industry and worked years and years in that, and experienced a lot of mental health and a lot of abuse and a lot of yelling and a lot of screaming and a lot of throwing plates and a lot of getting accused of shit. And basically, like, this is a very light form story because it's not about how bad things got for me there, because it's about how good things are going to get, and that's what we're going to get to. But when I was 19, I completely spindled out of my sanity and went completely insane. And one day I left my house in a state of psychosis in Vancouver. I was living in a $2.5 million mansion in a basement suite for $650 a month, renting a bedroom. I lived with 3 people in the basement, and there was 5 people upstairs, and there was a bedroom for each and every one of us. It was a massive house in a beautiful neighborhood, and I couldn't believe what I had scored when I got there for my living situation for being in culinary school and only making like $15 an hour. Like, I was doing pretty good for myself. And I got so caught up in my success, and I had a job lined up in Switzerland at a 2-star Michelin restaurant for when I was done school, through some friends that I met from Europe working in the industry. And I got so caught up in my success and look at me now and all this shit that I started like listening to a lot of Eminem and a lot of rap music and just pumping up my ego every day until I was the crazy guy walking down the streets, flailing my arms everywhere. I was 110 pounds when I got checked into the hospital. My eyes were bulging out of my skull. I had black eyes. I hadn't showered in who knows how long. To be truthful, guys, I do not know how long I was on the streets for, because I was in such deep psychosis the entire time that I like didn't even know I was homeless. I just knew that I couldn't find my way home. I didn't view myself as homeless. I didn't know I was homeless, but I was. And I still had a little bit of money in my bank account, and I still had my wallet on me and stuff. So for like the entire time I was homeless, I was able to get a glass of orange juice from 7-Eleven, or like a fucking donut or whatever. I was like just making it last. But I probably ate like 500 calories once every 3 days for like 2 months, the entire time I was homeless. If we're going to call it 2 months of homelessness, because I don't even know. And then something fucking magical happened. I was following the signs, being the crazy guy on the street. Fucking, I'd see 333 graffitied on a wall, and I'm like, it's a sign. It's an astrological alignment. And then I'd see a trash can, and I'd kick it and be like, life is shit. And everything was a sign, and I was following these signs, and I was just trying to get to somebody or something. I knew I was meeting up with someone. And then, right when I was ready to give up, right when I was ready to jump into traffic and just commit suicide and fucking end it all, I saw a light, a literal light, and it was so big that I couldn't deny it. And then 3 people walked out of it, and they walked towards me, and they literally told me everything about the afterlife, everything about everything in life. And it was like a dream. I couldn't recall to this day what they actually told me, but in that moment, I knew how life worked. And to this day, it's ingrained in my subconscious on how life works, and I'm just on this trajectory, and like Guys, it was just intense. So how did I end up not homeless? Well, when I shook hands with those 3 people that I hallucinated with, everybody saw me shaking hands with the fucking midair. And somebody who had a kind enough heart to phone 911. And this is in the middle of downtown Vancouver, the highest homeless rate in all of Canada. There is another guy like me around every corner in Vancouver. So nobody phones 911 on these people. And somebody actually phoned 911 for me and got me help. And literally within like 30 seconds of the hallucinating people, like when I was done talking to them, they said something along the lines of shit's about to get intense, but this is for your best good. Like, we got to go now. And I was like, no, don't go, don't go. And I didn't even know I was hallucinating. I just thought I was talking to 3 people. And then the cops came and handcuffed me and fucking pinned me on the ground and told me that I was a drug addict and this and that and blah, blah. And then I explained to them that I'm completely sober and I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, do you know anything about mental health? And I was like, mental health? No, I don't know anything about mental health. And then they were like, this is a mental health case. You're going to the hospital. And then it clicked. I was like, oh my God, they're here to help me. And then I just started breaking down, crying. And like, I was like, oh my God, it's over. I'm not going to be on the street anymore. And I know my parents' phone number off the top of my heart, but my phone was dead and I had nowhere to fucking charge it for 2 months. I couldn't find anywhere to charge my fucking phone. I don't even think I had a phone charger on me. And get to the hospital. They stripped me down naked. They put me in a gown because I can't do it myself because I'm too weak to even move my own body at this point. I think at that point, I was just like realizing how intense this has all really become. And as soon as I got the help in the hospital, I couldn't make another movement after that. I was done. Like, I looked like I was going to die. And, yeah, it was fucking. But anyway, how does talking to yourself help? The whole time I was homeless, I had no one to talk to, no one to do. I was making all those decisions. And yeah, I was crazy. I was in psychosis. Yeah, I was talking to myself. But I was making rational decisions. And when I got good again and put on all my weight and stayed in the hospital and ate my meals and took my medication and got my diagnosis, by the way, guys, I'm schizoaffective manic bipolar 1 with ADHD. If I can be here making this YouTube video, I promise you, you can be here making a YouTube video, making your life, getting out there. The next step here for me is, by the way, if anyone's wondering where do I live now, I live at my parents' house because I have a good family and they took me back in. I am 28 years old and I am probably 6 years behind in my life because of what's happened to me, but I am not stopping. The thing I am doing is I am utilizing the fact that I have a place to stay at night and food to eat. And I'm using every resource at my disposal to become an entrepreneur and start a business and start a YouTube channel and write a book and do all the things and inspire all the people and make my name known, not so that I can get that fulfillment, because what I learned in culinary school when I had it all figured out is you don't have it all figured out. So all I'm trying to do is become the poster boy for fucking mental health so that I can help people in the extreme situations. And this is no knock to people with anxiety or depression, but those are very, very manageable mental illnesses if you just try and take your fucking medication. Someone like me with schizoaffective disorder or manic bipolar 1 disorder, and I have both, it takes immense amount of effort and focus just to be a normal person every day and blend in with society and not feel like you're different from anyone else. Like I have to try to be normal. I have to try every day to be normal. When all I want to say is I'm from another dimension. I've been to other dimensions. I've hallucinated this. I've seen God, whatever. Like, maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Maybe it was just all mental illness, or maybe there's something we don't know about mental health and why this happens to people. I really don't care at this point in my life. And if you're anything like me, you really shouldn't care at this point in your life. The point is to move forward so that you can inspire people to get up off their ass and get better. Because mental health isn't just an end all be all. You get your diagnosis and that's it. And now you have to deal with these issues. I don't have any fucking issues right now. If I'm not deep in psychosis, homeless, roaming the streets, doing whatever, like when I take my pills for like a straight 8 months, I'm right back to normal. I don't hear voices. I never hear voices. That's not part of my illness. Schizoaffective is way different than schizophrenia, but I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, I don't fucking have mania. I don't fucking have delusions. I don't have hallucinations. Like, I'm a completely normal person when I'm on my meds and when I'm taking care of myself. And I can bet that you are too, and you fucking know it. So you have to just combine all this life experience and understand that this is what's going to make you the inspiration to the other person. Not going to tell you what my business is yet or what I'm doing because I'm not further enough in it. But the mission statement for it is, it takes the sick to heal the sick. I am the sick. I will always be sick. I will always be at chance of losing my mind again. It's happened to me 3 times. By the way, since that hospital visit, I've been in the hospital 2 more times over the course of 5 more years. It can happen again. But every time it fucking happens to me, I'm like way on it. I recover twice as fast every time it happens to me because I'm aware. When you are aware that you're in psychosis, it's way different than when you're unaware. The first time I was in psychosis, I had no idea it was psychosis. I thought I just hacked life and done something magical and become someone great. Really, I was just losing my fucking mind. Guys, I want this for you. Okay? I want this for me. I could have shaved for this video. I could have showered after my really long walk in the hot sun today. My greasy hair. But like I have to identify with my crowd. And my crowd doesn't take care of themselves. I am at the top leaderboard of mental health right now. And I am still at the bottom of fucking society, living at my parents' house at the age of 28. I should not be. This isn't as good as it gets, guys. This is just the fucking beginning. This is just the first video. This is just the first time you've heard my voice. If you liked anything you heard today, I'd appreciate a like, share, comment, subscribe. You know how it works. It fuels the algorithm. It gets me views. It also helps other people like you and me get help.